Welcome back to CIA Declassified, the broadcast dedicated to dissecting the classified documents that reveal how intelligence agencies seek to exploit the most vulnerable and private space known to man, the human mind. Today we abandon the macro scale of planetary warfare and turn our focus inward, addressing the chilling fact that U.S. intelligence explored the possibility of remotely hijacking an individual's perception of reality without the need for drugs, hypnosis, or physical contact. We are analyzing the CIA's involvement in psycho-optic manipulation and targeted hallucination technology, treating human sensory input as a communications channel that can be maliciously overwritten. Our primary evidence is the declassified file CIA-RDP83-00595R000100020009-1. This report is titled, and I quote, "The Strategic Use of Illusory Command," end quote. It confirms that neuroscience and advanced physics resources were tasked with evaluating the feasibility of non-lethally overriding a subject's sensory experience to induce specific, complex, and realistic hallucinations. The context here is non-lethal battlefield control and demoralization. If a target believes they are seeing a threat that isn't there, hearing orders from a source they trust, or experiencing a physical sensation that doesn't exist, their ability to fight, communicate, or maintain sanity collapses. The file's existence confirms that the stability of human perception was viewed as a strategic vulnerability ripe for technological exploitation. The analysis focuses on two primary areas: focused energy emitters for delivery and target-specific hallucinations for strategic effect. Let's drill down into the rigorous and frighteningly sophisticated theoretical methodology documented in this file. The analysts demanded a path to interface with the brain remotely. The file required an intense focus on focused energy emitters. The research centers on the potential of low-power, high-frequency electromagnetic or acoustic waves fine-tuned to specific neural frequencies. The theory was that by precisely modulating and directing these waves at the visual or auditory cortex, external energy could be injected into the brain's existing electrical activity, generating a perceived sensory input without light entering the eye or sound waves entering the ear. The key challenge was localized, non-disruptive signal injection. The document outlines methods for ensuring the energy pulse is narrow enough to affect a single individual or small group without causing permanent cellular damage or disruptive side effects, like seizures. The goal was to produce a clean, compelling illusion, not just static or noise. The document includes conceptual specifications for establishing illusory fidelity benchmarks, the measurable success rate for convincing the subject that the hallucination is real based on monitoring their physiological stress response and behavioral compliance. Crucially, the file dedicated an entire section to programming complex illusions. This is the leap from simple noise to illusory command. Examples discussed include inducing a subject to see non-existent threat that causes them to retreat, or to hear a clear command to drop their weapon originating from a voice they recognize as a superior officer. We must now examine the primary finding, the agency's assessment of the concept's potential for strategic control. This is a critical excerpt regarding the confirmation of viability. Quote, "Preliminary modeling confirms that the targeted application of modulated redacted energy at specific cortical bandwidths can reliably induce complex, persistent, and actionable auditory and visual phantom percepts, leading to high-level behavioral compliance in conditioned subjects." Then a second quote from a section discussing operational use. Quote, "The ability to generate a shared controllable delusion within adversarial command structures renders physical defense irrelevant, achieving immediate non-lethal strategic victory through psychological collapse." End quote. This is the true meaning of the file. It states that reality is simply an electrical signal and that the signal can indeed be hijacked. The agency saw an opportunity to utilize the brain's own sensory architecture as a tactical exploit. The focus shifted from how do we physically defeat the enemy to how do we make the enemy believe they have already been defeated. We now address the chilling operational implications of this file, the deployment of the Psycho-Optic technology in psychological warfare. The most extensive redactions occur in the section titled Long-Term Neuroplasticity Changes and Ethical Oversight and International Morality. This suggests detailed discussions around the permanent changes that prolonged or repeated exposure could inflict on the target's brain structure, and the severe international backlash that would result from revealing a technology capable of direct, non-consensual mind control. Why redact ethical oversight? Because this section likely documents the internal disagreement or attempts to justify research that fundamentally violates human autonomy and international conventions on non-lethal weapons. The concept discussed is the creation of a psychological deterrence field. By deploying these focused emitters covertly, a nation gains the ability to slow chaos and panic in an enemy position simply by making them see things. Ghost, phantom attacks, sudden structural failures, aliens that aren't there. The file details the requirement for sophisticated targeting and tracking systems capable of locking the energy beam onto an individual or vehicle over significant distance. The strategic weaponization of this research is clear. It is a neurological dominance weapon that fundamentally changes the nature of psychological conflict. A state possessing this capability gains the ability to render enemy personnel clinically insane, paralyzed by fear, or compliant with false orders without firing a single shot. We conclude our analysis of this file. The existence and scope of the research confirm that U.S. intelligence treated the development of remote sensory manipulation as an actionable, high-priority strategic objective. The implication is that analysis moved into the sphere of applied consciousness engineering, seeking to exploit the mechanisms of human perception for the sake of perpetual intelligence advantage. This research represents the ultimate weaponization of reality itself. If this documented truth has opened your mind to the technological boundaries explored by those in power, we require your continued support. First, like this episode and leave us a detailed 5-star review wherever you listen. This is how the analysis exposes the deeper scientific agendas. Second, share this episode with someone obsessed with cognitive neuroscience, non-lethal weapons, or the philosophical problem of reality. We need more sharp minds analyzing these documented facts. Next, we move from controlling the mind to exploiting the fundamental nature of reality through quantum mechanics. We will analyze the CIA's classified research into quantum entanglement communication and non-local signaling, the agency's extreme attempt to investigate theoretical physics concepts to achieve instantaneous, unjammable, and uninterceptable communication across vast distances. The analysis includes protocols for using a human neural interface to read the quantum state of a synchronized system. For our next investigation, we'll dissect CIA file RDP83-00341 R000100020005-7, a stunning file concerning non-local signal integrity and strategic telepresence. What were the proposed theoretical mechanisms for creating and stabilizing entangled particle pairs for communication purposes? How did the analysts plan to leverage the no-cloning theorem to ensure absolute security for their quantum signals? And what does this reveal about the agency's effort to create a communications network that bypasses all known laws of classical physics and surveillance? Tune in next time for CIA Declassified Quantum Communication and Non-Local Intelligence. Until then, remember, maintain your vigilance, question what you see, and keep your critical thinking sharp. I'll see you in the archives.